Hi Scorpio, welcome. I'm actually skipping Libra right now. I tried to do Libra and Scorpio the last couple days and both did not record. um, so I'm just gonna keep moving, but Scorpio's reading was kind of interesting, so I thought maybe I'd try that one again. Hopefully it records. Yeah, so anyways, that reading was interesting because a lot of the same cards from prior had come up, like 3 or 4 Virgo cards, and just a bunch of interesting things having to do with like gateways and gardening. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if any of the same cards come up for this reading again. But anyway, so this is for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, or if you have a lot of planets in Scorpio and you're just interested in Scorpio energies. Yeah, it's for anyone welcome, and also for someone in particular, someone who this might be helpful for. So also I thought this reading I'm going to try to sort of feel my way through a little bit more, go more on intuition, maybe instead of, I usually tend to try to fill the silence with talking and give every base definition, just in case, to cover everything, but this time around I thought I would try to go more on feeling and just sort of let you as well see the card more and see what it means to you, see what stands out to you. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. So, again, always use your own logic and intuition, and just see where the different cards, different messages take you. And yeah, so is there anything else? I thought we'd start with the planetary energies and just see what comes through. So the who, what, and where of energies, and I don't know, I just looked at the back of the card. You can think of the planets as like who, and the signs as like the what, the context that the energies might be falling into, and the house is the area of life. So again, if you haven't looked up your birth chart, you might want to do that, and I'll put a link below for that. So for Scorpio energy, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What information, what messages passing, maybe clarifying the past, passing, or coming to be. So always be open to divine timing. Things that haven't happened yet will probably seem unfamiliar to you, so you might want to check back, watch this again later. This is for now until whenever you see these, whenever you come across these videos. So Scorpios, what energies, what information is important for Scorpios? Highest and greatest good. Mars, Neptune's on the bottom. I'm just going to go with the top cards, but let you know if there's, yeah. So Mars in what sign? In Leo. Virgo's on the bottom. Virgo has been very prominent in all these readings. So houses, what area of life are these energies important to know about? The 11th house. 10th house is on the bottom. So, the messages on these cards go spiritual and also more like intuitive, logic, like action doing. Maybe I'll start out with reading them. Usually I leave them for the end, but I also close with an oracle card at the end, so kind of like bookend these. So this says, the drive for self-confidence to create freedom, the confronting of taking a chance on associations, and action resulting from the impressiveness of your circle of friends. Like little fortunes. The action doing advice is energize leadership for humanity's sake, confront the creativeness of your hopes and wishes, and force yourself to do what you want and to do it for the future. So the 11th house having to do with more your public domain, your dreams, things that you want to see happen. It is traditionally ruled by Aquarius, so that might be important. It has to do somewhat with like technology in that sense, and future thinking, and social networks and community environments, and just how you reach out and connect with others. It comes after your career house, so it's kind of like maybe the things that come from, what you pursue in your career, or however it works out for you. I've also been putting links below for any of the further information, and also visual metaphors for some of the cards that come out and things that I talk about, messages that come, things that make me think of certain songs, and there might be further clues or signs for you in those links, so if you have time, please do check those out. Mars being that very, like it says, energetic, somewhat aggressive, more masculine though, energy. It's just fiery in nature, rules Aries, or rules Aries, code rules Scorpio, so that kind of makes sense. And Leo, it's creative fire sign. It's all about heart and how you express yourself, and leadership, like it says, like king of the jungle, lion, creativity, stuff like that. So just leave those out, and then move on to this Robin Wood deck. Let's see. It's a little bit more traditional than some of the others, so Scorpios. Also, I've been saying in a lot of other videos to just additional things to look for in your chart, like especially just depending on like what you are wondering about, different planets having to do with different things, different houses, different areas in your life. So, more love-centered readings, information would maybe come through your Venus or Jupiter, Mars, 7th house of partnership, sometimes your 5th house as well, because it's like romance and things like that, and other things are like Chiron, the vertex, part of fortune is fun, and if there's anything else, Ceres, Pallas, things like that, just different asteroids. They're not usually as prominent, not the things you have to kind of put them in, you have to select on to show them. So anyways, for Scorpio, Scorpio energy, foundation card to start out. Aquarius, good. Scorpio, foundation. The Star. And the Knight of Wands is on the bottom. Knight of Wands represents a fire sign, or fiery energy, more so about the energy. I think of mutable signs. It can be man or female. This is general energies, general reading, but I usually associate knights and anything of the travel nature with mutable signs. That would be Sagittarius, or Leo, or Aries. It's like an explosion of his mane. Looks just like a explosion of yellow paint. Can mean going long distances, travel, like I said, expanding your horizons, expanding your mind, expanding your reach, overseas travel, it's going the distance. The Star. This again can sometimes be representative of Aquarius. It's about your hopes and your wishes, following your star, following your inner guidance, following the path where it leads. I tend to think of this as both logic and intuition. Here, pouring out water, that's why it's associated with Aquarius, the water bear, giving out intuition. My nose really itches right now. Giving out intuition, help, advice. 17 adds up to be an 8, so power in that sense, regeneration. I think this is more typical of the star card with the center star in the middle and stars around it. I tend to think of some sort of another dimension, going into your dreams. Just expanding outwards, like your own inner guidance, your own inner light, shining that outwards, giving to others. Some kind of angel sometimes, or knowledge, technology, future, following, like the northern star, following towards your path, following the path towards the future, trusting your higher guidance, your higher self, higher mind. Look for things that stand out to you. 8-pointed star, luck, grace. It's kind of out of a party, just the bowls and the glassware. Just finding a place that's quiet. Swiss Alps, just a lot of Lake Como. If you haven't been, it's one of my, I was only there for like a day trip, but it's just this, like, if you haven't been, it's so beautiful. The water, the lake, Swiss Alps are in the background, far distance. It's palm trees and Italian villas, and it's like a little slice of heaven, a little slice of paradise. So, you know, what is that to you? A place like that, a little slice of paradise. Paradise City. So I just thought of, yeah. Nurturing something so that it grows. Having one foot on water, one foot on land. Being that, like a vessel, being that intermediary between the different elements, the different sides of oneself. The more watery nature, the more grounded earth sides of yourself. Dipping your toe in something, trying it out. Receiving also, you know, can go both ways. You know, reversed, it can mean more so like you're not shining as much, or your light is hidden maybe by others, or, you know, maybe you're just not getting out there, or since it does have to do with Aquarius, it can mean like higher education, learning, that kind of thing. Again, water, giving. It was really itches. Giving to people what they need, you know, guiding light, finding ways to guide others. The streams here, the water, it's going off in 5 different directions, which represents the 5 senses. So think of being in touch with your senses, being in touch with reality, but also having one foot in the water, one foot into the intuitive side of yourself, and the more emotional, like receiving in that sense, more emotional, intuitive guidance. So just sort of balancing both, especially of like fire and Knight of Swords, or I mean, I just saw the Knight of Swords, Knight of Wands. So this is the Thoth deck. Throat's a little dry. Keep wanting to like look at the back. Anyways, see further clarity. This has more to do with signs and symbolism, energy. So for Scorpio, the one that I pulled, but just to show it to you, this is the 8 of Cups. It's funny. This reading keeps coming up from February 20th. 8 of Cups being leaving something in the past, leaving something behind, leaving home, moving towards your future, which kind of speaks to the star. Moving towards the same cards came up, the 8 of Cups and the star came up in that reading. That's why I keep thinking of it. But anyways, on the bottom is the 5 of Discs. This deck assigns worry to it, but it can mean a lot of different things. Cards can be very literal, and the minor arcana especially can be representative of number of letters in a name, years, especially with discs being having to do with like your tangible, your reality, your environment, things of material nature, not thoughts, not ideas, but like something that, I mean, yeah. So the 5 of Discs can just mean being passed over, being looked over, or, you know, finding a place of rest, of solitude, where you can get a warm meal. Sometimes there's people walking by, a warm church where they're outside. So sometimes feeling shut out, sometimes, you know, not recognizing opportunities and then missing out. But I mean, 5 years, 5 days, 5 months, anything having to do with changing your opinion, your environment, your feelings on something, moving towards something better for you. So I don't want to spend too much time on that, but there's also the star here, the different signs, so maybe aspects, something having to do with 5 degrees or the 5th house, which is ruled by, you know, sometimes I think of discs especially like having to do with like the different houses. So maybe the 5th house, which is traditionally ruled by Leo, your creativity, how you express yourself, things like that. What came out was the Magician, the first of the major arcana. So far, the Magician and the Star. This means connecting your higher mind to your reality, your connecting above and below. What you think about, you bring about. Using all the tools around you. Usually he has like the different signs as representing his tools. So using everything in your toolbox. Wow, having communication issues. Using everything in your toolbox, your emotions, your logic, your mind, your reasoning, your thoughts, all of it. So, as above, so below, like as the stars move, you know, as are things on Earth, having a direct link to the heavens, to God, to Source, to your higher self, and, you know, bringing it down into reality, creating something, using your mind being representative of your instrument, your, what's it called? It's like your agency. What do you have to help you? It's being resourceful. Sometimes I think of the Running Man. Mixing and making, creating something. Like alchemy. Sometimes I think of chemistry. This card always looks very 80s to me. Some sort of fountain, the Greek sculpture or something. All the different aspects and lines and crisscrossing. Warm. I have, there we go. A little fire going. Yeah, it's this very interesting snake-like head wrap. He can be kind of a jokester, trickster kind of personality. somewhat if it comes out, like if it's reversed, and there's always two sides of everything, or, two ways of looking at things, two sides of a coin, so you have to look at things both ways, but you can be a little bit manipulative in this sense, tricky. Something's maybe confusing you or tricking you, hard to understand. But for the most part, it's just using all the tools in your tool belt, using what's around you, being resourceful. Blue and gold. Reminds me of Forever Young, that song, Alphaville, just some sort of and again, like another sort of dimension or something. Balancing. The one is the I am energy, so it's a little bit how you see yourself. Just being connected to the higher realms, connected to God, connected to whatever it is, your guidance, your star, connecting to your future, connecting to, this can also, sometimes I think of a watering hole, so like a bar, I don't know, a water fountain, something on tap. Stained glass, all the different shapes something makes, or like ripples, slices of something, like anyways, I'll move on. This is tarot and astrology. This again is kind of reminds me of this card, even just the back of it, just all the connecting lines and how different planets connect with one another. I don't know. Anyways, further clarity on the star, the Magician, or Scorpios. It can represent Mercury, because it does talk about your mind, connecting all the different thoughts and ideas in your mind, finding that connection, getting things moving. So Mercury, speech, communication. I don't know. Further clarity. How you communicate. This is 10 of Pentacles or 10 of Discs, Venus and Virgo. So again, more of those kind of sitting around a round table, I think of making all those connections. Aspects. 10 of Pentacles, I think of your career house. The house of, on the bottom was 3 of Pentacles, Venus and Capricorn. There's a lot of earth. Oh, God. That's the Empress, Venus. So, and Venus rules Taurus and Libra. And here it also talks about Pisces. This came up for a few. In the last one that didn't record, the death card popped out twice. And that represents to me Venus and Scorpio. Which is actually what I have, Venus and Scorpio. It might have been a indication though that that wasn't going to record and I'm just going to have to do it twice. I always just noticed the pearl necklace, and all the 12 stars here that represent the 12 signs of the zodiac. nature, Venus, love. It means Venus in Virgo, Venus in Capricorn. So Venus being, the planet that rules finances and beauty, love, romance, art, creativity, anything. I always think of Venus for someone with a lot of Venusian energy, being resourceful as well, kind of like the magician, since it does have to do with finances somewhat, but also creativity and art and like Mother Nature and, giving birth to ideas and projects. And so, creative solutions, resourcefulness in that sense, using your mind, using what's around you, looking to nature, looking to, style, fashion, beauty, or the third house. So we have Three of Pentacles, the third house, creativity, artist at work, spiritual messages coming through, connecting the different signs of makes me a lot of earth here. It would be like Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus. Like, so connecting all, making up a trinity, things with ease of communication. Since I mentioned the round table, you can think of your birth chart as a round table, and having that trine, that usually means like having, being able to see each other well, so that there's ease of communication and things just flow smoothly. A lot of green and blue. That's funny. The Empress being the third of the major arcana, so we have the first and the third and the star. I don't know if that was, when those kinds of things happen, I just sort of go with them. And Three of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, this is like building something from the ground up. Looking into something from the very beginning to the top being the Ten of Pentacles. And just basically bringing it all together, bringing it home, starting something that will like last the generations. Total sort of fulfillment in the material sense, like, I don't know, things even being inherited or passed down. Empress could represent, mother figure or grandmother figure or something like that in that sense, but the female archetype of beauty, though, just represents style and grace and giving birth to ideas, and can represent like actually giving birth, but it's thoughts and earth. So I tend to think of her as the personification of Venus. So whoever that is for you. Three being Three of Pentacles. Three being, something taking shape. Bringing two opposites together to create a third, like 1 + 1 = 3 instead of 2. Love, though, really. And that's what I don't know if it was before or after, but the Empress, to me, represents Venus and Scorpio. This is Pisces, but again, another water sign, whatever. Venus in Virgo, Venus in Capricorn. Sometimes these cards don't do so much for me because they're not as just talking more so about the energy. But together 13, which is the Death card. I had mentioned that. And that becomes a 4. So you're finding your stability in a sense, but really Venus, again, that would be Venus in Scorpio, Empress. So maybe those signs, those are important to you to look into. Venus in Scorpio is very much about lasting, I think, love, lasting. It's where love, the Empress, Scorpio, which is ruled, like I said, co-ruled by Mars and Pluto, so it's about sex and regeneration and going into being able to go into yourself, being able to look at the deepest depths of yourself and being comfortable there, and bringing beauty out of that, bringing beauty out of darkness, I guess, within yourself or around others. Not darkness in the sense of like, but things that we hide, things that, subconscious, just the depths. It's where the scorpions live, We're supposed to transform into the eagle, the golden eagle, which makes me think of past lives, which makes sense, again, because Scorpio, that song, Past Lives by Borns, but Scorpio does represent past lives and things of that nature, regeneration, metaphorical deaths, watery, emotional, to some degree, warrior, badass. I think of her as very much like ride or die, in it for the long haul. Venus and Scorpios are very committed, committed to a cause, committed to a person, whatever they love. So it does represent beauty, love, attraction, and also sex and all that. Venus and Scorpio. It's more so. It's kind of like committed relationships, I guess. Committed, like I said, committed to something. Committed to whatever you love. Committed to whatever. This card again has that sort of background like the star, the mountains in the background, and just all the forces of nature working in your favor. Queen of your castle, kind of like Leo, king of his castle, like queen of your castle. Just want to say committed, like committing yourself to something that you love, that for a cause, for a reason. It's not like, it doesn't take things lightly. But she's in charge, she's above, like in all the decks they have kings and queens. She's the one that all the kings and queens come to. So the head of a company or head of something, ruling with grace and beauty, with love, over your domain, wherever that is for you. This card doesn't really make me feel very much. I see the cross there as well, which I'm not sure why it's there. This deck didn't come with an explanation book, but and the wings, the golden wings, and the wheel, the dove of peace, black heart, like Venus and Scorpio again, not having a black heart, but like being able to go to where it's not always comfortable for other people to go. A lot of people like to keep things on the surface level, not dive deep into themselves or into a situation, do whatever. So, but the cross makes me think of all the mutable signs that form a mutable grand cross: Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius, and Gemini. So being flexible too. Yeah. So, She's usually sitting on something, like some kind of chariot, so maybe driving somewhere to get out into nature. Maybe just taking like a day trip, needing to get away. Three of Pentacles can also mean like three people, like maybe there's three people involved, or people looking in, someone hiding in the shadows from behind the scenes, watching, being aware that people are watching. Overall health and wealth and all that, whatever that is for you, like coins being your material reality, whatever the 10, the ultimate is for you in that sense, like whether it's just a happy home and happy family life, or, you know, within yourself, feeling like you have it all, especially like artistically building something, blueprints, building up your creative kingdom. But yeah, it can mean three people involved, or listening. Sometimes I think of like listening to the other side and relaying messages, people taking notes on that. But if, you know, three people are involved, how do you get from, you know, here to there? Where it's ultimate happiness. Like, it can be a good thing if three people, you know, working together. Three of Pentacles, maybe like in your chart, like a grand air trine or earth trine, or water trine, things where there's like a good communication flow, but like a third party situation, maybe needing to get away, getting away into nature for, you know, a little trip. In the 11th house, Mars, so maybe like, it's not a masculine energy to me, except for the Empress, but Empress can, you know, again, this is general reading, so it can apply to male people as, you know, men as well, just tapping into that more creative right side, you know, of your mind, going with the flow, being mutable, being flexible. So like Virgo, that was on the bottom of this deck, being a mutable earth sign. Venus and Virgo here. So maybe looking at your Venus sign, knowing what that is, and how that affects your love language, your way of expressing yourself, either creatively or within a relationship. Sometimes being guided, I think with the Three of Pentacles, guided through spiritual means, like being watched over, maybe a relationship being watched over, or guided towards your happy future star, regeneration. Just I think connecting heaven and earth in a way. Libra being an air sign, Taurus being earth signs, so connecting above and below like the magician. But maybe building something, building your dreams, building your empire. I think I've kind of exhausted that. So let's see what this art of life. I know I touch my hair a lot. People should probably just like make it into a drinking game. Like every time I touch my hair, like drink. Can't help it. Whatever. Anyways, so further clarity, maybe to sum up all the different cards here: Leo, Mars, the 11th house, the Star, Eight of Cups popped out again. That was popped out earlier, and in that same reading I talked about leaving home, leaving the baggage behind, leaving what's unnecessary behind, so that you can move forward, move towards your dreams, move towards your hopes and your, you know, where you want to see yourself going, the right direction for you. Leaving home, maybe for the first time, maybe can be on a very mundane level, just like getting out of the house, leaving home, in that sense, luggage. Yeah, so like leaving the baggage behind, saying goodbye, just leaving the emotions out of it, going somewhere, just going towards your future. Maybe with creativity. Regeneration 8 of Cups, emotion, water. Cups represent water, so in each loss there's a gain, as in every gain there's a loss, and with every ending comes a new beginning. Shao Lin, a son and his father, the N.C. Wyeth, 1900 to 1945. Yeah, so maybe have something having to do, because I don't, son and his father, it just looks like a man and a woman, so I don't know, maybe mother and father figures, maybe someone leaving home, maybe, I don't know if that speaks to you, but, yeah, with every loss there is a gain, kind of like this, same, two, giving, being generous, giving, nurturing others, and so giving out energy to gain more energy, like what flows in, flows out, so making sure that what comes into, surrounding yourself with love, so that you give out love, that kind of thing, going off, traveling again, leaving something behind. Sometimes I think of Twilight, some more traditional imagery of the card, moving through, making your way, following your path to your star, following the path towards your highest abilities, whatever those are for you, like understanding what you need to do to get there, like what, making it easier on yourself by trying to leave what's heavy, what's unnecessary, what kind of weighs you down behind, especially the cups, like talking about emotions, like water under the bridge, like that kind of thing, like leaving it in the past, leaving something behind, moving forward. I mean, he's leaving her, so it doesn't always have to mean like leaving something because it's like not, it's weighing you down or something, just maybe needing to take a break, going somewhere, to like clear your head, like I said, like this kind of paradise little area for you, whatever that is, like just so you can clear your head, gain some more perspective, like using, think about things, figure out how to make things work for you, how to handle a situation maybe, because again, those two, like the star, so that sort of balance, different things, maybe the 8th house, or the 8th house being death and taxes and that kind of thing, which, what was on the bottom was the 9 of Swords. This is head of a young woman with tousled hair, or Leda. This is too funny. By Leonardo da Vinci, 1508. 1508. Gallery Nationale, Parma, Italy. So, the longer we dwell on our misfortunes, the greater is their power to harm us. Voltaire. Yeah, so getting out of your head, so that's not, like I said, those thoughts aren't like weighing you down, clouding your judgment towards what you give out, whether it be communication, creativity, anything, like making sure that it's all coming from a good place. And then, the things that do upset us, things that do cause us misfortune or harm or whatever it is, even sometimes your thoughts just being too much, to like being overwhelmed with something, a project maybe, or thinking too much about your future, not like really living in the moment, that kind of thing. Whatever we dwell on, can be, once you recognize those things, they no longer have power over you. You can kind of see how they're playing out in your life. Nine of Swords, thoughts, 9 being the end of a cycle, the end of something, completion of a cycle, maybe the 9th house of Pisces, since Pisces came up here. The 9th house ruling over Sagittarius and Pisces, Jupiter, expansion, like leaving the home, expanding into the world. Expanding the world, maybe, like my little playlist. Like that kind of thing. Like I expanded on the major arcana of the world, 0 through 21, and made it my own. Yeah. Later. Just being like filled with spirit, filled with inspiration, knowing what's good for you, knowing what's not good for you, leaving what's not good for you, drawing, maybe just getting out that creativity. I'll say something iconic, something that is creating something that's going to stand the test of time, like a painting by Leonardo da Vinci. Taking your time, details on something. Like bringing what's around you into a painting in a realistic sense, like drawing beauty, creating beauty. Even Leonardo, like being aware of like the Three of Pentacles, like sometimes it means people are watching, and Leonardo da Vinci, like, he did his mirror writing for that very reason, so prying eyes wouldn't see. I don't think people, have to, I don't know, it's probably the problem with creativity. Like, if you are very creative, it's a good thing and not so good thing, because people either want it and they want it for themselves, so they don't, always, they're more willing to just take instead of, obviously, then not like give credit because I don't want people to know that that's where they got it from, that kind of thing. Again, since we have the star here, which I said can go either way, like hiding or not hiding, being recognized, not being recognized, maybe for your creativity. Maybe since we have a lot of earth here, and it does speak to material reality, but I'd say like fire and water is usually more associated with creativity. Maybe if you're an earth sign, maybe not feeling like people see that creative side in you, and figuring out ways to bring it out and give it out and share it with people. Talking about the 11th house, getting it out there, which is, again, kind of talking about how do you, protect yourself if, you want to share what you're doing, you want to, like, partner up, like the three of Pentacles, like work with others, collaborate, like how do you get your stuff out there and find avenues for that while still protecting your work and, not letting people, take it. Like, I think it's really hard to do that. I've had issues with that, like wanting to just try to, I think anyone who's creative though also wants to share, just inspire, like share what they're working on. If that's your job, that's your life, like you want to share it. So how do you do that while also protecting it? There's a lot of issues with like copyright laws, especially with fashion and art and that kind of thing. Like, it's really hard to protect concepts and ideas, even more so. Or, how do you prove that you're good at what you do and without sharing it? You have to have to applying for a job or anything, you have to share your portfolio, you have to share things. So it's like delivering on a silver platter your best work and hoping that people have enough integrity to respect that. So that can mean like leaving that behind, leaving a job behind, leaving maybe we talked 11th house and the star, leaving some sort of social media behind because it seems futile to you. Finding ways of expressing yourself, though, I think. Sharing what you're working on, especially with technology and the future, like having to explain something in order for it to make sense to others, but then therein lies the problem. People can just, oh, thanks for explaining everything to me. Now I know how to like go ahead and like recreate it. And, I think especially within a creative community, the Three of Pentacles, social media, all of that, it's like, just hoping that there is that sort of mutual respect. So there's not that sort of having to look over your shoulder kind of thing, worrying that if you, worrying about it, trying to build something substantial, trying to build something on solid foundation. But if, people are detracting from that, like always having to go back and like rebuild and like, especially Leo creativity here in the 11th house, and Mars being like a go-getter, aggressive, like, I don't know, just like that blank card on the bottom. Blank canvas, maybe starting all over, starting fresh, starting new, painting over something so that you have more space to clearing your head. Maybe just finding ways to move forward. It can be hard to let go of things, so maybe it's finding ways to, like, or maybe being given reasons to let go or leave something behind. That can have to do with romance, and we have the Empress here and Venus and all that. 3 different Venus signs: Venus in Capricorn, Venus in Virgo, Venus, Taurus, Libra, Pisces. So maybe there's some sort of, we have the 3 of Pentacles. Maybe there's some sort of third-party situation, like I said, maybe seeing someone. I did mention a watering hole, so maybe seeing someone. We have the Knight of Wands, seeing someone out with someone else, and that being your, that being enough to kind of like push you over the edge to travel, to leave something behind, to go somewhere, to clear your head and figure out how to think about what you're going to do, what you have to work with, just getting out into nature, sort of ground yourself and feel, connected again to things that are peaceful, and just where you feel like you can put 2 feet on the ground and just, feel good in your body too. Just sort of thinking about things. I don't know. 9. We have 8. 9 and 8 ends up being 17. So again, another 8. Which in the major arcana, that is the Strength card. So maybe going somewhere, leaving, whatever, finding something that will give you strength, building something that will, connecting your mind and your, connecting your mind with your heart, finding strength within yourself, within something greater than yourself, your surroundings, nature, using your mind, connecting things, resourcefulness, finding all that to sweaters. It's like rainy out, and this is my favorite like sweater. Not important. Okay. I thought I'd just sum up with the Oracle of Visions card. Sirens. Okay, sum up this reading. Oh, these are a little bit not. There we go. Some ones that were flipped up. So starting over, starting fresh again with so many eights, coming back to life out of an old situation, out of something that was harmful or hurtful or just dragged you down, finding a clear path through, or maybe it can go both ways, so maybe feeling left behind, left in the dust, figuring out if that's, if that's kind of maybe in love especially, trying to find ways to connect, to talk, communicate, maybe needing clarity on something, wondering if like your present circumstances are really leading you towards the outcome, the life you want, Ten of Pentacles, life that you imagined, that you hoped for, that you dreamed of. And if not, what can you do to change that? What can you do to, maybe it's just sitting down and having a conversation, getting clarity, figuring out what it is that you want. Mars being the very, Mars ruling Aries, too, like that I am, the magician, like what do you want, what makes sense to you, what feels good to you, nurturing yourself, thinking of it from all different, sensory perceptions, using your different senses, foresee something, feeling left out, or like of a relationship, if there is that third party sort of situation. I think mainly just moving ahead and moving forward towards what, does fill you up emotionally. Getting out of your head. Maybe because Nine of Swords can sometimes mean like a restless night, not getting enough sleep, being up all night with your thoughts, or psychic ability. 9 letters, 9 weeks, 9 months, thinking about your future, just not, trying to get clarity, I think. Being confused, maybe, if you're up all night thinking about something. Just wanting a fresh start. The one here, or the blank card that was on the bottom. Finding an outlet, like the star with the water. Creative outlet, like Leo, the 5th house, finding a creative outlet for whatever is, on your mind. Expressing yourself creatively or through a more verbal way. Even Aquarius, the star, 11th house, a social means, or like social networks, social media, or any sort of communication, like texting. I've mentioned this before in some videos. I hate texting. Something that would take 2 seconds to say ends up being this long sometimes, and you're like, oh, now they think I'm crazy. So, but it's needing to talk about something, needing to express maybe where you're coming from, or just so everyone's on the same page and you can find that sort of balance between things. maybe you can talk about like feeling beautiful, feeling like you have it all too. Maybe leaving something that doesn't serve you behind so that you can have it all, so that you can feel materially and emotionally, physically fulfilled, moving towards what makes you feel passionate and supported emotionally, creatively, bigger expanse. What nurtures you? What nurtures your mind? What nurtures your spirit, your creativity? This is 42. Ends up being a 6, so that is very much about nurturing energy. I always think of like Cancer type energy, which is another water sign, just being helpful and loving, nurturing, emotionally speaking too. Like what nurtures you emotionally, whether it be a person or environment. We have the Empress here, and usually she's by like a waterfall, and the Magician, like I thought of a water fountain. So like maybe going outdoors, being by, I think of this place called Starved Rock here in Illinois. It's just hiking, lots of, a lot of waterfalls, actually, a lot of really beautiful like scenery and stuff like that. So maybe just like going somewhere that helps you to clear your head, so that you and like figure out what is going on in your life and how to handle it. How you personally, so maybe Mars and Magician, like Knight of Wands, like how you personally can like move forward and deal with something, especially if it's coming out of, a place like the Eight of Cups, where it's either heavy or sometimes hurtful. To find that balance, to talk about relationships, the third party situation. So if there is that thing kind of going on, maybe getting out into nature so that you can figure out what's good for you, what's best for you, how to move forward in a way that that will ultimately, like the Ten of Pentacles, work out to the best that it can. 52 is on the bottom. I always think of traveling and the globe. It's pointing that direction where my globe is sitting. Maybe I'll do a globe turn. It's also I got this book, 1,000 Recordings to Hear Before You Die. Funny enough, it's by someone named Moon. I just randomly come across books in a bookstore, and actually last time I was there, I came across 500 best speeches ever made, and I just sometimes flip to them, see if there's any messages, like flip to different pages, and what came up was Nixon and Ronald Reagan talking about Watergate, which was funny because the last reading I did was all about Virgo gateways and power plants and gardens. And it just makes me think of like by yourself, like dreaming about that balance, finding that balance, moving forward. Walking a tightrope where you have to like maintain your balance, walk straight ahead. But from that vantage point, you can kind of see what's going on below, to your right, to your left. Doing a couple of different things at one time. She's holding like juggling something, and like has a big baton and walking this imaginary tightrope, and maybe she's like wondering how she can get there. Like, will her dreams ever come true? Decisions determine destiny. So yeah, choices. 52. Think of my mom. Always with that number, just because she was born then. Is I feel more like reading 52, so that's what we'll do. Direction, purpose, objectives, taking a first step. Talks a lot about what we talked about here. Leaving something behind so that you can, get there. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life that which he has imagined, he will meet with success unexpected in common hours. Purpose, direction. Oh, maybe I should hold it up for you. Taking chances, doing spin, going around the world, rotations in that sense, like cycles, the moon. My Odyssey playlist, like cycles of the moon, going around the earth, circling the earth from a higher vantage point, seeing things, seeing the big picture. Purpose and direction, goals and plans for the future. Without these, our life would be stagnant and have little meaning. Having something to aim for, to achieve, to look forward to, no matter how small, is the difference between a day-to-day existence and living a fuller life. Reading, learning, seeing, experiencing something new, and setting goals is a journey towards tomorrow. Even the longest journey starts with one step. Consider the reasons why, the options, the chosen direction, and let your journey begin. So I think that talks a lot about what we've been talking about so far, and like magician, like taking a first step, a leap of faith, jumping into something after you've decided what that thing is that you want to move towards, how to get there. Maybe I'll see if there's any song recommendations for Scorpios. Very much looks like a Scorpio. But I don't know where it went to. Warrior, like energy. Scorpios. Might have something that said turn the page. So maybe I'll turn the page. The Art of Segovia. Okay. 6 Strings and Truth. Or Roots. Zillion Metal. More Than Novelty. So, taking something more seriously. I landed on this page before, so I kind of feel like maybe, have some books that kind of do that. Oops, that's the end. Okay. For Scorpios, starting over. XO. Artful Miniatures of Classic Pop, Elliott Smith. I almost looked at this page, I kind of want to know what it is. This totally looks like the magician. I'm in the same position that, like, doing the little, like, The Essentials, Bessie Smith. The Amazing Travels of an Empress. Well, there we go. Traveling the globes. Getting, like I said, going somewhere, getting out, expanding your mind, expanding your environment, what's around you, expanding how you look at a situation so that you can see it from, all different perspectives and not just think that, like, you're right. Seeing how something might affect someone else and just trying to, gain some sort of, better perspective. It's a little crowded in here, kind of. I don't know if there's, on Revival Day, to hear her blend of blues, entertainment, and spirituality into a fervent sound that influenced generations of performers from Sister Rosetta Tharpe to Aretha Franklin. Key tracks: Jailhouse Blues, St. Louis Blues, On Revival Day, Amtrak Blues, a lot of blues, maybe blues and like blues music, maybe expanding on your music taste. Heavy weather report, forecast calls for weather report. Muddy waters. It's funny, I was thinking about last night. To be honest, I was not having like a good day yesterday, and like I hadn't, like the dinosaurs, hadn't really slept the 2 nights before. Just like, I don't know. And when I don't sleep, I just get really like overly emotional. I think sleep is very important, and so I was just like, I went for a walk, sitting outside, and just like kind of noticed that like, so I was kind of crying, and like noticed that that the rain would start and stop with when my tears were, when I was crying and starting and stopping, you know, emotion, fluxes of emotion, and just needing to be by myself and like get it out. You know, sometimes it's just a good cry helps, but especially if you're holding a lot in, you know, and just kind of but yeah, so I was thinking, I'm wondering like if our something, you know, tracking weather patterns. I mean, this could be totally crazy, but like tracking weather patterns and seeing if like they actually influence our emotions in some sense. Yeah, we're just being in touch with like shifts in weather and things like that have an effect on us. Like, I mean, I think when it's sunny out, you kind of a little bit more. I like rainy weather, but I probably should, I don't know. Heavy weather report. Never heard of these bands, but A Remark You Made, Birdland, 8:30. Another blues, John Hammond Jr. Muddy was a master of just the right tones. B.B. King, live at Regal. Damn right, I've got the blues. This book's cool. Excitable Boy, Odyssey and Oracle. Thoughtful Psychedelia, The Zombies. I'll put that, I'm sure I can find that. Can't always find everything that, you know, song I think of that's on YouTube. Odyssey and Oracle, The Zombies, released 1968, Columbia Records, I guess. Time of the Season, I think these are the album, Hung Up in a Dream. Something recorded after the members of the Time of the Season was recorded after the members break up. We were all very testy at the time, so maybe just, you know, going through some things and like, you know, seeing that that's all it was, and you know, especially if you've been through a lot, like just needing some time by yourself, or you know, just how there can be a multitude of things that influence us and our emotions. So you know, just being aware of that, especially within working relationships like this, Empress and the Three of Pentacles, and especially like social media and that kind of thing. Just, I guess, being understanding, knowing that we probably never really know what someone else is going through, or to just not be, I guess, judgmental, and more understanding. Just, you know, and we're all so different, and things affect us differently, so just, I don't know, just knowing that, being more aware of that, and I don't know, Excitable Boy. I kind of think of Mars and that Leo energy, and the Knight of Wands, and maybe exciting someone. being excitable, getting excited about something you're working on, wanting to like share it and talk about it, and you know, bring people in to work with you, and or just, you know, we have things adding up to the Strength card and Empress, and maybe there's someone like in your life that kind of excites you, and yeah, so I think that's it. I'll just put these below and see any of them make sense. So again, just look to see if there's anything going on in your chart that that these energies might relate to. Some fire, some Leo, 11th house, Virgo, Venus. I hope I didn't lose all the different. I just flipped to a page called Chicago. All that jazz with extra fizz. So a little extra, throwing something in there, like a little extra, being a little bubbly and excitable maybe, and curious, I want to say, like letting your curiosity guide you, listening to your, like letting that maybe be the little sparks of inspiration, things like that, letting that be things that you follow through on, like that you follow, as far as like if you can't decide, like maybe just like turning up the heat, getting the like energy a little bit more fiery and passionate, and you know, giving someone what they need. Not to get too like sexual with this, but yeah, like maybe using your mind. Maybe you find people with a lot of intelligence, like interesting, or maybe connecting on through books, through things like that, through technology, through learning. I don't want to say like mind games, but like being playful, because we have Leo here, being playful with each other, you know, in relationships, not taking things so seriously, and just knowing that there'll always be another day. I don't know. Both of these people are, whether they're both naked, so maybe just being exposing, you know, yourself a little bit more if you're more closed off, where you tend to be, things that are excitable and exciting to you, whatever that is, but just, you know, pulling it all together and being that Empress, being of your whatever, green, yellow, hay. Yeah, just like, I don't know, always reminds me like throwing caution to the wind, so saying, fuck it, let's do it, let's go somewhere, let's try, let's just see what happens, you know, seeing where the path leads, I think also really talks about fire and air energy, using your mind, using your senses, using things like that to guide you, knowing that whatever you encounter, whether or not it's, you know, what you hope it will be or something else, but knowing that you can always learn from every situation and like take something away and grow, and just like grow your mind, you know, expand how you see things, expand your perceptions, expand on whatever, expand your creative range, especially if you are very creative, like finding ways to challenge yourself, to be more, you know, to draw more out of that, because, you know, if things come easy to you, like, I don't know, you have to like put more thought like into it. I think I mentioned in another video that thinking about like creative thought, which could be associated with like creative thinking, but really creative thought and taking it to an art form. So if you haven't watched these videos and all of them, we'd all have 12 houses, so they would all apply to you in some way. If you have the time. I know they're kind of long, but yeah, it all tells one long dialogue, one long story, one big piece of art. We're always creating. We're always, so finding new ways, new inventive ways. I don't think that's really a thing right now, or I don't know, but taking creative thought to an art form through different means of social networking technology. Recognizing that, I think, recognizing art in different forms, that we don't always recognize art. It's not all art needs to be in an installation or something like that. You can't take that with you. You have to leave that behind, So I think with things that, the plays and things that I've put out there that are for you, I hope that they do help you to think outside the box, to expand your thinking, your ideas, inspire you. That is accessible. That is something you can take with you. It doesn't make it any less of an art form, and anyone who would say that clearly doesn't know much about art or creativity, especially if they have to take someone else's. So, but yeah, I think technology in that sense, I think I'm sure Steve Jobs would say that that is where art and things like that are going, and I'm positive that Andy Warhol would say that, would be obsessed with YouTube and all the people and everything that's on there, and just being able to create your own sort of little channel. I'm sure he would be completely obsessed with that and recognize that anything having to do these plays or whatnot is the future of art. So especially creative thinking, creative thought, taking that, elevating it to an art form, it takes a lot of smarts. It takes a lot of inventive thought, thinking outside the box. Not everyone can do that, so that's probably why it hasn't really been thought of as an art form before. So understanding that as we grow as a culture, society, that there will be new ways, and recognizing that in people, recognizing new talents, new things that haven't always been the norm, not ignoring I guess what is more or more or less unfamiliar to you, I guess, or something like that. I think of this one scene in the Basquiat movie where he says, "We don't want to be another generation that overlooks a Van Gogh." So, and he is right in front of, completely doesn't even recognize that Basquiat is there sleeping in the, the Five of Pentacles, sleeping outside. But yeah, so as much as we think that we're being so forward-thinking and so creative and all that, I think it's usually the people that actually are creative and actually are really inventive with their thoughts that usually are a little bit misunderstood and overlooked, because it's not normal. They don't think the same as us. Otherwise, they, would be completely, accepted into the, I don't know, people would celebrate it more, I guess, because they get it, I guess, people like what's kind of familiar, we all do, but it's being comfortable with what's not familiar, knowing that we'll never know everything, so to listen to those that have expanded their minds, who have, woken up, those that have, have those sort of forward-looking, forward-thinking, Da Vinci, anyone like that, mentioned, I don't know, he came up in that Valletta painting, knowing that anything having to do with the future, any, real inventiveness, anything that's not just, what someone else has done a million times before, would take probably some understanding and some willingness to get into it, to dive into it, in order to understand it, because it is a little bit more unfamiliar to you. So, yeah, just being open to new forms of things, new ideas, new art forms. Because you never know. To think that we've covered everything is kind of silly to me. I think that there's never, another way or another new idea or something. Everything's been done before. It's like, wow, we're pretty full of ourselves to think that everything's been done before. It just means that we haven't thought of everything. So, yeah, keeping an open mind, looking into the future, looking towards your future with love, I think. Your filter of love. That's why I try to say that with those plays, to help you make more inventive, sound, open-minded decisions. Seeing things through a filter, the rainbow filter of love. They are created with love, so I hope they do help you, and I hope this was helpful to you, and you have a great day, great month, whatever it is, when you see this. All right, bye.